and we're going to be having two things going on at the same time. So hello from New Zealand. How wonderful to see you, Verisa. And we've got Carol and Cheryl and more people logging in. And I'm going to repeat myself one more time. I apologize. But for those of you who are joining me on YouTube Live or Google Hangout, welcome to you as well. I decided to broadcast two different things at the same time, which is totally against my whole anti-monkey mind strategy. But part of the reason for doing this is that I really wanted to see what was going to be most helpful for people going into the new year. I love being able to jump on Facebook and say hello to everybody. And then at the same time, I find myself often getting frustrated watching Facebook Lives where I'm looking to get content and listening to the presenter say hi over and over and over again when I'm like, tell me something that I want to know or something I want to learn. So obviously they both have a place. And for what I'm working on in 2018, I just wanted to get a better sense of what would be most helpful from my community. So I will probably from time to time say hi to people on Facebook because that's where I can see people. I see we also have a bunch of people here on YouTube as well, although I'm not able to see your comments. I hope that you will share those with me as we go along. So if you're here, you already know who I am. I don't think I need to introduce myself again. I'm delighted that you're here, and I wanted to share with you quickly my intention or my purpose for doing this broadcast. First of all, Happy New Year, and I have to say I'm really hopeful about 2018. I was just kind of intuitively feeling like this is going to be a much better year, but I also did get some confirmation from some experts who suggest that there's all sorts of really cool stuff going on in the world and planetarily, if that is such a word, energetically. There's some cool stuff going on that I think is really setting us up for a year of collaboration. So I see Cheryl's given me a Me Too woot woot to that, right? We are all ready for some collaboration and alignment and synergy. And that being said, I found myself getting pretty anxious about wanting to be part of that movement in the most effective way. So part of the reason that I wanted to do a broadcast with you all tonight was just to share with you what's coming up and kind of what's in the pipeline for my stress mastery program, but also to really ask you for your feedback on what would be most helpful, because I find myself really feeling it's not that I lack intention or purpose because I'm very clear and very motivated on it, but I think I'm struggling a little bit to find out the right avenue or the right platform to be most effective and to serve people to the best of my ability. And I'm sure many of you struggle with that as well. You have great content or ideas, or maybe you just want to create a space for meaningful conversations with other people, and yet the world that we live in can be so distracting and so competitive that it's easy to feel hijacked by the pressure of it all. And this coming from someone who researches stress and anxiety on a regular basis. So I think this is something that we all can find challenging. And in the midst of stressful situations, if I've learned anything, I've learned to lean into it and ask the question, what is this for? And so in the stress mastery formula that I talk about, assess, appreciate, adjust, so much of that is actually learning to lean into stress, look at it, learn from it, and then figure out how to let it go in a positive way that serves the greater community. So in this case, that tension that I was feeling or the pressure I was feeling to try to figure it all out, I knew I wasn't going to get the answers by myself. So my hope was that by opening up the space to have a conversation, we could figure out the best way to do that together. And so a couple of quick updates for all of you. One reason I wanted to do this right away is because I am going to be out for much of this month. And with the new Stress Mastery course coming out, probably next month. We're looking like probably next month. I wanted to at least let you know it was coming. I didn't want you to think I fell off the face of the earth because you hadn't heard from me. But as most of you already know, I am getting married in 10 days. So I want to be very intentional about focusing my energy on the joy and happiness of having family and friends around and trying to keep that as stress-free as possible. So everything is good, but I am going to go a little quiet for a while and didn't want you to think that nothing was happening. Things are certainly happening. Also coming up, I'm working on a TED Talk, and I'm super excited about that, but that's also part of this broadcast experience is I'm actually researching curiosity and the impact of curiosity on stress. And so my idea that I'll be talking about is I believe curiosity is the cure for stress. And so perhaps the world is giving me an opportunity to practice what I preach by feeling that stress and that pressure and that tension and then leaning into it and asking some questions like, can I learn from this? What's really going on? Who's around me that can provide support? And what can I do with the energy and information of stress to actually use it as fuel for positive change? So I guess anytime I'm researching something, God and the universe are really good at putting me into it full force and kind of saying, okay, if you really want to learn this, you're going to have to practice what you preach and use the strategies. So here I am doing that. So in March, I will be delivering that talk and really excited to see what comes out of that. So if any of you have comments or questions about curiosity, certainly you can share those. You can post those or share them as comments. Other things that are coming up that I wanted to tell you about, on April 12th, we're going to be hosting the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor Conference, yay, here in San Diego. Bunch of people coming together to research and discuss and practice therapeutic humor. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, it's going to be April 12th through the 15th. I'm chairing. My bestie, Karen Buxman, is co-chairing. Chip Lutz, who I believe I saw on here, I don't know if he's still here or not, but is going to be Mac Daddy emceeing, and lots of other people are going to be here to talk about all the benefits of humor. And I see Doina just joined, and she's part of our group as well. So lots of cool things coming up for the AATH conference, and you can go to aath.org to get more information. Also working on a brand new component of that we're going to try out this year, a Comedy for Caregivers event, and excited that we're going to have Yakov Smirnoff, if any of you know who that is. He's going to be headlining with a bunch of other really great speakers. So that will be part of the festivities, and I'll be sharing more about that when I get back from my break in February. Also in April, on the 21st, very excited to share that I'm going to be keynoting for the Sharp Women's Health Conference. So this is the first time I've said that out loud. It's on April 21st. I don't think the website's been updated yet, but I'm really excited. I love doing women's conferences, and especially if I can do them in my own backyard here in San Diego. So that's going to be April 21st. It is an open event, so you can find out more about that by looking up the Sharp Women's Health Conference, and I'll certainly post a link to that as well. So those are just some things that are coming up that I wanted to tell you about and share my excitement about. Now, for the stress mastery part of this, and I guess the components that I wanted to get your feedback on, and I'm going to keep this really short. I just want to give you a couple of kind of personal and professional updates. But this is where I'm getting stuck and would love to hear from you. So the Stress Mastery course, I have an online course that's coming out. It's actually about 4 hours of content, but it's broken up into these really short sections. It's very interactive. It also includes the Stress 360 assessment, and you get a debrief of it. I'm really proud of the way it's all coming together. I haven't seen the edited content yet, but I know from working with the team that I was with in Vegas in December that something really magical is going to come out of that. I'm very excited about that. It's an online learning opportunity, and I think that's really cool because we can get more content out to more people that way. But this is the piece that I'm struggling with, and I would be curious about from all of you. Such a big component of stress mastery is social support and connection. And I feel like with so many courses coming out right now where we're getting so much content that we lose part of that energy of connection with other people. So, for example, many of you have probably used some of the guided meditations that I've recorded, and I love doing those. I record something, I don't script it, I just kind of say what's on my mind. I put some binaural beats behind it, which help to balance brain waves and hopefully help you relax more effectively. And I love having those tools available. And I keep creating them, and I'll put them on the Recharge Toolkit website where you can use them for free. And I've got some funny videos there and music there. I just keep trying to figure out how to get more tools out to people. And I want to do these free resources. And yet there's this component of missing that connection. So one of the things I've been playing around with is the idea of having guided meditations that would be live. So actually streaming a live meditation session, having community come together so that we know that there's other people actually practicing at the same time. However, that's not always convenient for everybody. So then you end up with perhaps some stress or pressure or tension of trying to figure out when it's going to work for everybody. Not realistic to do that, right? So how do we create a community where people are actually coming together? And can we use technology to do that when we can't actually be in each other's presence? I would be curious as to your thoughts about that. And along those lines, if we were to put something together, if we were to try to create something and maybe we alternate the time of day, days during the week, those are some of the things I'm trying to get feedback on would be, and again, realizing that there's no way I'm going to get this perfect for everybody. But if there was something live that was offered, would that be of interest to be part of a community like that? And then even within that, are there specific topics that you would like to hear more about, which I know is also opening up a whole can of worms there. I am planning on doing the Global Stress Summit again in April. I am going to use a different format this time, and my intention with that is that it will be absolutely free. Not free to watch for a while and then purchase later, even though that's the way we have to do a lot of these programs to just cover the cost. The summit I did last year, I made no money on. And I know a lot of people paid money to be able to download it, but all of that money went back to covering the costs of running the summit. And I was grateful to have that opportunity to get the message out. This year, I just feel like I want to get the word out and make it available and just let it be out there and live in that space and hopefully be helpful to people. So obviously there's always the challenge of trying to figure out how to cover costs with all of these things. But for right now, I don't want to worry about that. I just want to think about how to get valuable content, create a collaborative community, and then just be open to what happens from there. Now, I realize as I'm saying all of this probably sounds like really lovely and yeah, wouldn't we all just like to get together and meditate and not have to worry about finances? And I guess it's a new approach that I'm taking this year to building community and trusting the process. I do believe this content is really important. And so I am excited that the Stress Mastery course will be there for people that want to learn more about the science of stress and some of those practical tools. But then for the ongoing practice, I feel like it's so important for us to have a space to come together and share and have accountability with each other so that we actually practice what it is we're learning. I really deeply believe that we already know 99.9% of what we should be doing. And yes, it's helpful to learn new frameworks and new techniques. And I think that that's all really valuable. But I also feel like such a big part of this is showing up and doing the work and doing the practice and knowing that there's other people willing to do that too. Because when you're the only one trying to be more mindful or trying to be more present or trying to manage your energy, it can feel really isolating when you go back into a world that's super chaotic and stressed. So is there a way that we can do that more effectively together? And I know that's a massive question, but I figured what the heck, rather than me try to figure it out by myself, why don't I just throw it out there to the community and see what happens? So there you have it. Here's a couple things that are already available to you that you can use. And then if you have ideas about, bringing a community together, whether or not you'd like to participate in live sessions, I'm the type of person, I'll just kind of throw something out there, try it for a while, see if it works. My idea for possibly starting this would be to do this in February as a 21-day challenge. And so instead of doing a 21-day challenge as I have in the past and just sending emails or videos, actually have something where we would be able to show up live together, whether it was a call or a webinar, or maybe it's just a once a week webinar where we can have a conversation, and it would be recorded for people who need to access it. I find myself going back to the same impossible question. Can we actually get everybody together at the same time to try to make this happen? Or maybe we even do like 3 a day. And if we did them 1 day a week and we did 3 during the day, maybe on a Sunday or a Monday, certainly could make that happen as well. So my thought was for February to do a 21-day challenge. It gives me time to get married and get back to the real world and hopefully take a little time off. In February, to do a 21-day brain recharge challenge that would include some sort of live meditation practice with people. Right now, there is the free recharge toolkit, which is online, and I've posted in there that a recharge challenge is coming. So if you haven't already, Cheryl, I just saw your comment and I love it, and I'm going to mention that in a second about the answer coming in the right time. I believe you, and it's part of why I'm putting all this out there, is to get that encouragement. Thank you. If you haven't yet joined the Recharge Toolkit, if you go to rechargetoolkit.com, it takes you into my online training academy. It's free, and it's more of a toolkit than a course because it has a bunch of guided meditations and other tools. But in there, I have also put a chapter where we're going to do the 21-day recharge challenge. So I will be posting information in there about the challenge, assuming that we do decide to move forward with that. And if we do either a Facebook Live or a YouTube live stream, depending on the feedback we get as to what would be most beneficial for people. So I also have a survey that you can take, and I'll post a link to that, but it doesn't even need to be that formal. So I put a Survey Monkey together, which is fun because I love monkeys, as you know. But I put a Survey Monkey link together to ask questions like that, like what platform would you like, what topics are you most interested in? It's only 4 questions, so it's super short. I'll post that, and if you have a minute, I'd love to get your feedback on that, or just post a comment in the comment section below. Either YouTube works best or Facebook Live works best. Let me know, and I will gather that information before I do the challenge. If I can do it this way and stream both at the same time, I will. I don't know how well this will work out. I find myself wanting to look back and forth and don't want to annoy anybody if that's annoying to anyone other than me. So that's coming up. Also, I'm considering doing a special stress mastery program for highly sensitive people. And this is a topic I've become incredibly passionate about, and many of you have probably heard me speak on it before, but as I learn more about sensitivity and the fact that 20% of the population has the highly sensitive person trait, now we have some genetic markers that are showing up with this as well. I also have been looking at the link between high sensitivity and vasovagal syndrome, which is really fascinating to me. So there's a chance that we would do a course specific for people who are highly sensitive. And if you don't know yet if you're highly sensitive, I do have a quiz on that as well. So I'll post a link to that. If you're interested, just send me a note about that. So these are some of the things I'm just trying to get more feedback on. Empathic is very similar to HSP. And if you're empathic, I would say take the HSP quiz to see if you have that. I don't know yet if it's 100% correlated or not, because I think there's different assessments being used to determine both of those. But I will look into that, Cheryl, to make sure that I give you the right information. So Anyway, that's all that I had to say. Let me see if I've seen so many names pop up here. So thank you all so much for jumping on and saying hi. There's so much that I want to do to share to really help people with stress mastery. And I'm excited about the TED Talk, the Stress Mastery course, and the 21-day recharge challenge that I'd love to do with you all in February. My main question is, how do you feel about the live component? It's one of the questions on the survey, and it could be that I'm the only person really craving that. And if that's the case, I just may put a really small group together of people who want to do that kind of live meditation at the same time, kind of have an accountability group, but also run the programs outside of that so that not everybody needs that. I find that sometimes that's the challenge that I have as a sensitive person, is that I want to understand it for myself, and then I also want to share and give the best service I can to other people, and sometimes the two can cross over. So I thought, rather than try to read your mind, let me try to ask you and have you tell me what would be most helpful. The TED Talk, Cheryl, is in San Diego. I'm so excited. So it's San Diego State University, and I will be posting more information about that. But both that and the Sharp Conference, I believe the websites aren't updated yet, so I haven't shared the links. I think in February it'll be perfect timing to do another catch-up with all of you and share what's actually out and how to have access with that. Same with the Stress 360 assessment, because we have that now getting updated into a new version that will actually give you a report based on your Stress 360. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and most of it is being crafted and molded over the next couple of weeks while I'm going to be checked out, or at least trying to be checked out. So I didn't want you to not hear from me in the meantime. And as I'm saying that, I just remembered one other thing that's pretty exciting that's coming up. I'm also filming a lynda.com course for LinkedIn, and that will be filmed at the end of this month. And as soon as I have that, I'll share it as well. So lots of tools, lots of resources. My hope is that something in there will be helpful for you. And if there's other things I can be doing on an ongoing basis to help support the community that we're creating, that's really what I'm craving right now, and wanting your insight and inspiration to figure out how to do that and to serve most effectively, because there are so many options out there. And as I'm sure you already know, it gets really overwhelming to figure out the right one, and really aligning. And I'm doing my own meditation and my own curiosity work to discover what I think the best pathway is going to be. But I think we can do that more effectively when we collaborate with other people, which is why I wanted to invite you into the conversation. So with that, I'm going to log off. I see Willow joined. Hi, Willow, and I can't wait to see you next weekend. And maybe, I don't know if Auntie Heidi means that Brady and Lexi are there too, or my sister-in-law is just calling me Auntie Heidi, which is totally cool too. Either way, awesome to see you. Yeah, technology is funny. Technology is so helpful in that it allows us to connect and do things like this. And then at the same time, it can be really overwhelming to figure out the right way. And for right now, hi, Alexis. Alexis is going to be my mini maid of honor next weekend, by the way, my beautiful niece. And of course, I will share pictures with everybody of that. So yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. I'm sure someone else knows, but technology. So one of the challenges I'm finding right now is that although technology is so amazing, it also causes a lot of stress for people, not just because it's happening all the time, but so many times people will plan events and they'll be using technology, and they'll have, hundreds of thousands of people showing up, and then it falls apart, and then it's more stressful. So I think coming up with the right ways to use technology, just like stress, to use it for good, for positive reasons, and not get overwhelmed by it, is so much a big part of the finding the balance of all of it. So I do have a couple of potential collaborators I'm talking to who are really good in that space, which would be awesome, so that we can figure out how to put something really cool and helpful together for everybody to be able to use. So, okay, with that, I want to say good night and thank you for joining me. And I look forward to coming back and sharing more exciting updates with you in February. In the meantime, have an amazing, amazing January. It's going to be very exciting. And I do believe that this is going to be an incredible year. And I want us all to just lean into that and look for opportunities to collaborate and support each other, because that social support and connection is by far the greatest way to take stress and challenge in our life and use it as fuel for positive and use it for something good. So with that, I'm going to say bye. Happy New Year. Bye, Willow. Bye, Alexis. Love you guys. And I'll see you again soon. Okay. Signing off and signing off. Bye, YouTube.